Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Final Fantasy Randomizer community presentation on Randomizer on Randomania. Tonight, the semifinals begin, and folks, we're into the tough sledding now. We got zero point 0.8 and 0.9 encounter rate. That's darn near vanilla. We got bosses clamped with their stats ranging up to 200%. We got a town shovel, no bridge, and monsters in a box, which is going to make that early progression really difficult. And to top it all off, we got 3 malices per light warrior, so this is going to be nasty. We are witnessing the first of 3 matches between Fryteeth and Pickles and Beer to see which of them will move on to the finals. So this is big. The stakes are high. Representing the Final Fantasy Randomizer community in the commentary booth tonight, I am one of your 2 Final Fantasy Randomizer Sherpas. My name is RockSolid84, and I'm joined in the commentary booth by Hate13. Hate, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little bit on the warm side because, the day star, it burns. But I've been looking forward to this. This is going to be a good match. They both Pickles and Beer and Fryteeth have overcome some really strong opponents to get here. And I'm looking forward to this being a good old, slugfest between the 2 of them, basically.
Yeah, some unseasonably hot weather, it sounds like, coming from down south, but yeah, take a look at this race. Talk about hot. And look at this party composition. We've got a black belt, a thief, a red mage, and a black mage. They're off and running, but we've got to talk some malices quickly before we see the spell listing. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're looking at with this party composition?
Yeah, so this was a drafted party. Pickles and Beer chose the black mage, Fryteeth chose the black belt and the red mage, and Pickles and Beer followed it up with a thief. And as my dear partner mentioned, we got 3 malices per party and only 2 blessings. The thief gets level 1 black spells and can wield the katana, but has minus 10 hit percent, black mage strength, and minus 1 hit per level, so that thief's not going to be hitting that much, nor that hard. The black belt can wield fighter swords and has plus 20 strength, can help him get running maybe a little bit. Has minus 10 MDef, minus 1 MDef per level, and minus 10 vitality. So black belt's not going to be as strong as you would like, and if you want to get him up to the walking ribbon stat, it's going to have to be about level 50. The red mage got plus 2 level 1 magic points and can wield or wear a black shirt if you got him, but has minus 15 vitality, minus 15 agility, and can't wear any bracelets. And finally, the black mage has plus 15 MDef and can wield the X-Cal if you find it, but has minus 10 luck, minus 20 hit points, and can't wear a pro ring.
Yeah, so TLDR, pretty much everybody has some nasty malices that are going to affect their survivability or their ability to do damage, or both. Now, here's another thing I want to talk about quickly, just because we did see the magic. We went with a red mage, and we were talking about how you got to be careful with these flags because sometimes your only good spell might be a white magic spell, and lo and behold, that's exactly what we have. We have Fade in slot 4, so that's going to be Red Wizard learnable, as somebody in chat pointed out, but by that point, you're not really concerned about it. We might not even see a promotion for this party, and Fryteeth and Pickles and Beer making the play again with Rub.
Well, given the black spells they've got, Rub's about the best bet they can go for. And it looks like the king had a ship and the princess has an instrument. In Pickles and Beer case, it's the hurdy-gurdy.
Yeah, so a little bit of vanilla action with the princess giving us the loot. And the ship, though, very nice to see. That is going to make both of these runners breathe a little bit easier. Definitely helps to have that kind of momentum and that ability to move around a little bit, especially with bridge taken off the table. And Pickles and Beer going to make a quick play to what was Provoca. We're going to see what that has become in just a moment.
Whereas Fryteeth looks like he's grinding up some cash or something and keeps running into some nasty looking things.
Yeah, a lot of runners will go for a couple of early fights just to get up to level 3 or 4, get a little bit of extra HP, get a little bit of extra cast, and that definitely makes sense. Can't see the magic on Pickles and Beer side. Did see Quake at level 7 Gaia. That's not going to be super helpful. These tents will be useful, but Pickles and Beer doing a hard reset out. He doesn't see anything he likes. He's going to move on and check the town location at Elfland.
I cannot blame him for resetting out of that. It's there's really nothing you can do there at this point.
Yeah, I would have liked to see an item shop check though, just to know if it's there. It only would have taken another minute and we could have figured that out. But Pickles and Beer just making the gamble, hey, let's just go quicker.
No, I think he did pop into the item shop, but it doesn't look like he found anything of importance there.
Well, you're absolutely right. I was talking about the tents. Sorry, I'm having a little bit of difficulty processing with this scaled screen on the right-hand side. But fryteeth into the Temple of Fiends. Gonna rub Garland down and catch up a little bit to Pickles and Beer.
Or at least hopefully, because, well, there's one of the rubbers down.
Yeah, Rub's got a pretty good percentage against Garland. fryteeth getting unlucky though. Both of them missing. Doesn't seem to have any more charges. Gonna go, taking advantage of that fighter weapon benefit to the black belt, doing a little bit of unorthodox axe strats, but gets the job done.
Well, if all else fails, just hit it with something large and heavy until it falls over. And it looks like Pickles and Beer has gone and found, found Provoca at Elfland. Looks like he might have picked up some spells. Hopefully the spells are better in Elfland or in Provoca than they were in Corneria.
Yeah, and Chanigan, our tracker, calling it out, pointing out, we got Warp at level 2 black. That's going to be really big. We're going to be able to cast that with both our black and red mages. Level 4 white magic, all of that's going to be available to the red mage. Charm 4 and Invis 2 going to be useful, especially since we didn't get access to Fade, and Fire 3 is the best sweeper we have so far.
Yeah, Fire 3, it's, not the best because there's a lot of things that resist fire, but it's still a perfectly viable sweeper. And looks like Bicky was holding the chime after he, was beaten down enough.
Yeah, don't forget to check Bicky after you beat down the pirates, folks. That's one that happens to the best of us. Now, I'm interested, though, Hate, because we've got Fire 3, we've got Harm 4, starting to make Ice and Marsh look a little bit more doable, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and given the proximity and my personal dislike of Ice, I would probably hit up Marsh at this point. Hope to find anything useful in there, maybe get some extra scratch.
Yeah, they're both intriguing plays. Certainly Marsh is the safer play. Ice is a little bit closer though, and with Warp, I mean, it makes them both better, but Warp is really something that's nice in Ice Cave because you can check boxes, you can check grind tiles really easily. But yeah, at level 6, it looks like fryteeth at least is heading down into that bottom left quadrant of the inner sea.
Yeah, which makes sense because, you can find something horribly expensive at Provoca. Well, let's check Elfland and hope. Oh, wow, and Fire 3 rolled really cheap.
Yeah, Fire 3's a bit underappreciated, I think. It's the trouble with it is that it does get resisted by a lot of things, but on the other hand, a lot of things are weak to it too, especially early on. So it's a spell that you like to see here because you can pretty much take care of just about anything in the inner sea with that. That and Warp, and I'm feeling pretty good about my ability to just get around and get the items.
Yeah, and it looks like Pickles and Beer has done the semi-popular strategy of filling up your inventory with nothing but crap, so you don't get jumped by monsters in boxes as nearly as much.
Yeah, that's been a new strategy for this spring tournament, of course. This spring tournament pioneering the use of that monster in a box flag that can cause you to take nasty encounters early on, lose a lot of progress. There's different schools of thought on this one. I'm not a big fan of it myself. I think it's better to just take the fights and try to get the experience, try to get the items. It also takes a while to fill up your inventory. but it's been used to good effect, I have to point out, by several runners, including Caleb, who's in the other wing of this semifinals right now.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of filling up my inventory with chaff either, just because it takes time and it takes money. And unless you find something that's like, really, really cheap, then it's in my eyes, I don't think it's worth it. Then again, I also was eliminated pretty early on, so my advice: take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, it has to be said. There's a reason that the two of us are in the commentary booth right now, and Pickles and Beer and Caleb are still in the tournament. But we'll just kind of push that to one side without really focusing on that too much, because fryteeth is about to give us a look at Marsh. Pickles and Beer is already in there, so the two of them pretty much neck and neck in terms of progression right now. They all have the same items. They all have pretty much the same levels. Pickles and Beer's got a dead red mage. That's something that's going to happen in this place, though.
Yeah, and it looks like they're both deciding to check the attic marsh first rather than going and checking the basement, which I don't hate, but statistics, better to check basement first.
Yeah, I'm usually going to go basement first. However, in this case, with both of them being low level and both of them having warp, especially if they have a house, yeah, I get it, and would probably do the same thing. So Pickles and Beer, I'm sorry, picking up some gold in the top, but deciding it's not worth keeping and doing a quick reset out instead of even warping. That makes me think he doesn't have a house. We're going to see what fryteeth does in just a moment.
I have a feeling it'll probably be the same thing when he doesn't find a key item or anything of really import or value up top.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Both of them encountering some bigger packs. This is one of the problems with Marsh. fryteeth taking a wipe there, you see, and continuing north. Oh, I don't love that because we know that there's nothing there, but also one of those two chests that fryteeth didn't see is linked down here. So fryteeth is going to lose a little bit of time here. It's not a huge time loss, especially with, I don't know which enemy it was that came out with plants, maybe? It was the spiders? This is a Danny seed after all.
Well, the werewolves have cremate, so there's a giant pile of pain.
Yeah, that's not fun. Werewolves can show up on the two lower floors, starting with the one Pickles and Beers entering now, and then you can really see them on the last floor with the vanilla incentive.
Yeah, the floor where most of the stuff is going to be hiding at. This is and Pickles and Beer finding a 5-pack of them, and yeah.
So Pickles and Beer looks like deciding to make the play to get out of here and go check the Crescent Lake location, maybe check ice instead of continuing to go against those werewolves. fryteeth hasn't made that decision yet, and this is going to be an interesting potential early divergence here because if fryteeth gets lucky, may pull out an important incentive item here.
Yeah, that this could come back to bite Pickles and Beer if it's something good here.
Yeah, so if you're a fryteeth fan, keep your fingers crossed that fryteeth does not run into any werewolves so far, mostly just dealing with a lot of bones, but yeah, it doesn't have a lot of HP on those light warriors. I think even without the werewolves, this is a nasty play. That Fire 3, though, putting in some serious work for fryteeth as Pickles and Beer makes his way back to Elflin/Pravoka.
Yeah, patch up his wounds and heal up, and then run away screaming from this area because it's after you've beaten your head on a wall so many times, it's probably not a bad idea to do.
Yeah, definitely. Now, fryteeth does find the adamant, starting to walk it out. Does he not have warp on his red mage, or maybe he's out of casts?
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but at least he knows where it's at. He can go in, grab it, and hopefully survive his trip out.
Yeah, adamant could be big. I mean, it could either turn directly into something, or it could continue a quest chain, which knocks away a lot of these inner sea locations. You don't have to be double guessing yourself, second guessing yourself later on. If you've got the ship down in the northern continent area, you don't have to necessarily come back if you've got a lot of those locations cleared out already. But Fryteeth really experiencing adversity. We just found out that these mucks or slimes, whatever they are, they've got frost.
Oh man, Marsh is just rolled nasty. Yeah. At this point, I might even actually advocate an ice dive rather than a marsh dive. And coming from me, that's something.
Yeah, I mean, Pickles and Beer is doing something that I don't hate, which is checking to see what kind of leveling up we can do here outside of Crescent. I would argue that you're better off with, if you've got some houses, you might want to try going to Volcano Armory and checking the tiles there. But the problem is that our sweepers are mostly fire and undead based, and that's not going to do you much good when you're in Volcano, where most things are weak to ice, if anything. So Pickles and Beer is just kind of making his way through the encounter table, not finding a whole heck of a lot that he can do with this Fire 3. I feel like I'm back in vanilla and trying to Fire 3 down trolls for levels.
Oh yeah, I know, right? I mean, it's not a pop grind, which I'm about 40% surprised to see or to not see happening.
Now, the other option that we haven't discussed yet that they do still have, and again, this does depend on having houses, which I haven't seen yet, but we could consider an entrance grind in ice. With the kind of magic we have, you could get a lot of work done against sorcerers or images or frost dragons that you might find down there. Fryteeth is continuing to go for the adamant. This time has the Black Mage alive. This time uses warp, gets out of Marsh Cave. We're about to see some significant divergence here if this adamant turns into something useful.
Yeah, that was a very forehead play to make sure you save the warp charges rather than burning them for the Fire 3, because that Marsh is mean.
Yeah, and I mean, just having gone in a few times, Fryteeth sort of adapts, makes the play. Pickles and Beer does find the Peds. I think this is about 3 or 4 encounters deep, if I'm not mistaken. Is about to get a pile of levels on that Black Mage, which could come in real handy. Fryteeth checking the Dwarf Army, about to give us a look at the Adamant.
Yep. Well, first chest in the Dwarf Closet, box of pain, Nagas and water.
Yeah, that's not going to be very easy to do at these levels and with these spells. Fryteeth getting some bad news. The adamant only turning into the slab. So in order to make any use of that, we're going to need to have Melman and Lefane, neither of which I think we've seen yet in the Inner Sea.
I do not believe we have, because we've got, excuse me, Onrak at Crescent Lake. We've got we've got Provoca at Elfland, and we have Gaia at Provoca. So yeah, we're going to be looking at least one of them being airship locked.
Yeah, so unfortunately, although that adamant to slab progression chain might be necessary to finish the game, it's not something for Fryteeth that's given an early lead. So Fryteeth now slowly following along behind Pickles and Beer, making a play along the southern edge as though he's got the floater, maybe just prefers the overworld encounters here. I have seen some runners take this route.
Given how nasty everything else is rolled, I can't blame him for taking the overworld route rather than the river route, because I've seen too many Caribs and Hydras that have rolled too mean.
Yeah, and it can be good for levels too, because some of those overworld encounters can go down to your Fire 3s. So Fryteeth, though, yeah, really following in Pickles and Beer's footsteps, gonna walk through and see if he can smoke out where these Peds are, as Pickles and Beer has done. Be interesting to see if Fryteeth sits on them, because if he does, we're looking at about a 2 to 3 minute difference between them, I'd say.
Yeah, plus or minus a little bit, but oof. And everything is... Oh, this is not a good pack to see.
Yeah, so Town Shuffle is one of those things that makes these flags really tough. Pickles and Beer, well, they're both at Crescent Lake right now, but Crescent Lake is actually on rack. So the spells are very high. You don't have that free item. It's not really as great. Now, they were lucky enough to find Provoca early on, which gave them that free item, which gave them level 2 magic, which was pretty useful. But neither of them have the sort of like non-elemental sweeper that you really like to have. Fade is out of reach until we promote. We're not going to do that, if at all, until we get an airship. Nuke we haven't seen yet. And we even haven't seen like Zap or Bane, I don't think. Some of these spells that can really get packs down early for you.
Yeah, no, the only AoE that we've really seen has been, well, that Fire 3. And, well, Rub. But, Rub's not AoE.
No, Rub is pretty terrible. I think outside of taking Garland down, there's not a whole lot you can do with that. So they're both just going to grind outside of Crescent. They're taking a Crescent-like grind. You can get up to, I would say, about level 12 to 16 if you really want to push, but I wouldn't normally do that. I would stop at 12, if that. Pickles and Beer heading up the river system a little bit. Fryteeth still taking level, so it looks like they are making similar decision-making, but Fryteeth with the advantage of having Marsh down.
And it looks like Pickles and Beer is heading to Ice Cave. Wonder if he bought any houses before he left there.
Yeah, let's hope so. That's going to come in pretty helpful. Now, do keep in mind, with Fire 3, with Harm 4, with Warp, Pickles and Beer is going to be able to get through this ice cave. It's just a question of how much pain and suffering are we going to see before that's done.
Are we going to see vanilla Death Touch sorcerers? Or are we going to get lucky?
Well, there's only so many nasty things that you can see. We have already seen a lot of the early painful sweepers like the Frost, and I think we saw Cremate at one point. So let's hope that Ice Cave is gentle. With the mummies and cockatrice not showing too much, wizards usually just hit hard.
Yeah, not showing much yet. Hey, and we have an actual view of Pickles and Beer screen. Awesome.
Yeah, big shout outs to Chanigan pulling double duty for us tonight, doing the restreaming and the tracking at the same time, doing a fantastic job at both. Also an extremely competent runner that has been in this spring tournament as well. So definite workhorse of the community, getting it done as Pickles and Beer heads deeper into Ice Cave.
Yeah, surprisingly, ice is actually being kind of nice right now. I am mildly shocked. That being said, I've mentioned it, so commentator's curse probably is going to apply now. I don't know. I didn't mean for it to be mean.
Yeah, commentator's curse is real. It is a thing, and Pickles and Beer, though, getting past the eye mages, gonna do a warp trick, it looks like, prioritizing box checks over trap tile checks. That's an interesting choice. Does make sense with these levels, but could be interesting if Fryteeth decides to check some of those trap tiles, find something good for that black belt.
Yeah, if I'm running a black belt personally, I will always check that spike tile by the right chest there. Just as a better safe than... Oh my.
Yeah, this is pretty big, isn't it? We've got metal slimes on the right-hand side, and we've got Fire 3.
Yep, this is a great full party grind.
Catching a little bit of a break here, finding a nice grind with Fire 3 and Warp, although I think they share a level, so gonna have to be careful about casts. Pickles and Beer deciding to move on, gonna see if we can get that item first. Makes sense, and could end up coming back. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting enemies in here. The Nightmare's weak to ice. We're not going to want to keep taking them, but could be potential black belt fodder as we find an X-Cal.
Yeah, X-Cal -3, of course, because, it could be used or it can be used by someone in the party.
Yeah, The Black Mage swinging the X-Cal, it's definitely helpful to have that when charges are tough to come by and sometimes you've just got one enemy on the screen. It's probably going to get used a couple of times. Pickles and Beer checking the six-pack, finding a bunch of money in the bottom. This is feeling a bit vanilla-ish. We're going to see if we can get past these red bones. They can be tough, they hit hard, and tend to have scripts, but Pickles and Beer making it through.
Yeah, it looks like you came out safe, and hey, we found our way out of the Undersea at least.
Yeah, Canal, big time fine for Pickles and Beer, is going to immediately warp out. Oh, wouldn't have used that warp there. It's probably worth walking, but no, Pickles and Beer knows how many charges he's got and makes it out just fine.
Yep, got the safety play, and looks like Fryteeth is going to, or I don't know if he was trying to fight those Earths, but well, eventually he did get away from them.
Yeah, Earth's more trouble than they're worth. Fryteeth not going to burn a fire 3 on the slimes, just going to head down. Going to try and make it past this nightmare tile, and they've got gaze. Okay, we're fine here. Does he take the nightmares again, or does he go for the slimes? Decides the nightmares are safer. Fryteeth's probably going to be able to get down and get that canal. So yeah, we don't have a lot of time separating these two runners, other than the fact that Fryteeth has a check done, which might turn out to be nothing in the end game.
Yeah, very much so. And Pickles and Beer has a few more levels on him, but not by a huge amount at this point.
Right, so Fryteeth going straight to the canal box. Let's see if he checks any of the others. Doesn't. That makes sense with Monster in a Box turned on.
And apparently also prioritizing using Warp rather than taking those 4 steps. A little bit quicker. It's not exactly what I would do either, but, well, once again, that's why I'm out and they're not.
Yeah, I mean, if you've got the charges, you might as well. I thought the Pickles and Beer didn't, but there's always a chance that you catch that one encounter and it's 4 frost dragons that you haven't seen yet and they're throwing toxic at you. So, definitely making sense for these runners. Like you say, they're here for a reason. Pickles and Beer is going to exit out on the right-hand side of the river system. Fryteeth is going south. Now, this is interesting because they've both got their ships parked in the same place, I thought. So maybe Pickles and Beer wants to see Provoca, unless I must have the ship docks locations mixed up.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he's going down that way. I know Fryteeth was still parked at Elfland because, well, he walked over the inland route there. But I thought Pickles and Beer was also parked down at the other side of the river system.
Okay, well, we're about to find out. Pickles and Beer, it doesn't have a ship. Seems to be okay with that.
Did he
We don't
forget
have a
where he parked?
bottle. Seems to be here for a reason. Going into the armor shop and nothing here that we want. Was it the items? No, they only had tents. I mean, unless you really want tents, but even then you could get in your ship and pick them up. I think it might be a little bit of forgetfulness. We'll find out soon. Fryteeth does find half of the slab puzzle with Lefanium Element.
All right, well, looks like we're going to the northern continents then.
Yeah, and Fryteeth, having already seen Ice Cave, not really too much decision making to do here. We're just going to head straight down. I guess the question is, do you check ordeals first? Looks like maybe he's taking a stop at Elfland before that, though.
No, it looks like he's just actually taken the route that you get to ordeals without having to smack on the Onrak continent first.
Sure, but he's a little bit too far east. Anyways, he's going to make his way around that. Pickles and Beer in Matoya going to give us a look at these 3 chests. This is really something you see sooner. I like to play normally. Let's see if it comes up good for Pickles and Beer. Not too much there. Gonna forget that he has the bridge. Resetting back. That's got to hurt. Pickles and Beer has got to feel behind right now.
Yeah, this is not a good time to be forgetting a thing, and I hope that he remembers where he parked very soon, because this is costing nothing but time.
Yeah, I would say by now Pickles and Beer will have eliminated all possibilities and knows. I think maybe what was going through his head was, let's do this Matoya check and go the other way around, just in case there's some good stuff in there. It could be a bit of a meta play. The only thing is, without the bridge, that's completely out of reach, and it's an understandable mix-up. With the spring tournament, the bridge has been getting turned on and off at different times throughout the brackets, and it just got turned back off. Pickles and Beer's last race would have had the bridge turned on.
Yeah, I can't blame him. I've made that mistake myself a couple of times in my practice seeds. And when you're actually racing, it's that much more pressure. So it makes sense that mistakes were made.
Oh, for sure. So while we watch Pickles and Beer work his way back to the ship, Fryteeth does seem to be in ordeals. Catching a zombie dragon, gonna use some fire threes. And we've got some questions in chat about spell slots. XOAS19 asking why certain mages can't learn a spell in a specific slot until promotion. I'll give my quick blast on that. And basically the way that it works in this game, the Black Mage is the master of black magic and can cast pretty much everything when it gets promoted that's black. The White Mage is the master of all white magic and can cast all the white spells when it gets promoted. The Red Mage, on the other hand, is kind of in the middle, and there's certain spells in the original game that weren't really designed to be used by the Red Mage. So the Harm spell is a really good example of this. Harm, Harm 2, Harm 3, and Harm 4, none of those are available to the Red Mage in the base game. So I'm going to use Harm is in level 1 white magic as an example. That's something that's in slot 2. So the Red Mage, even after it promotes to a Red Wizard, it's never going to be able to cast whatever gets randomly shuffled into that slot 2, because that was Harm in the original game, and Red Mages can't cast Harm. So it's it's a bit counterintuitive, but the long and the short of it is, if you're not sure, with the randomizer, what you can do is you can actually take a look at the Light Warriors sprites when you're in the magic shop, because the devs have added a feature where they'll throw their hands up if the spell is castable by them or not. So that's not something that you had in the original game, but it's a big time quality of life improvement for this randomizer.
Yeah, I love our devs for things like that. And Fryteeth has found the bottle hiding out in Ordeals in its in the vanilla chest. And Pickles and Beer has decided, all right, I'll go deal with the crap in Marsh now.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Pickles and Beer, this is not going to result in anything useful now. And this is interesting. Again, I wonder if nerves are starting to come into play. Has Pickles and Beer forgotten that he's already got the ship in the canal? I can't say that that's definitely what's happened, because there's every reason to still check this before you leave. But I think under a lot of circumstances, a lot of people would go on and check the Earth Trap tiles before they would do Marsh, maybe. How do you feel about that? Hey, would you still check Marsh if you have the ability to get out of the inner sea?
I probably would, just in case it was something major like the floater. But finding the adamant, I'd be both relieved and disappointed. Relieved because if my opponent found it, then it's like, all right, well, they just have the adamant as well. I can go get that turned in and we'll see what that is. But I would also be a bit annoyed because, well, it's just the adamant.
Yeah, and we just got to look at why they haven't been using a whole lot of houses. Houses rolled up. We've got houses for $3,400 for sale in the caravan and a few other locations. So that can, though, that's money that you really need early on. I understand why they haven't been using a whole lot of them. Pickles and Beer really making that Marsh check quick, getting up here, getting that slab done, and the check definitely makes sense. Fryteeth has found Elflin, but so far the magic hasn't been great. I only saw Lit 3 at level 3 black.
Lit 3 and at level 3 black. Tier 4 at level 3 white, that was Red Wizard learnable.
Okay, so that's big. And this is huge. Level 4 nuke and level 4 lock 2 just as a little bit of icing on top of the cake. That's great news.
Yep. Elflin was hiding all the magic, and Elflin is apparently hiding the key for 23k.
Yeah. okay, Elflin's got the goods. I mean, that key is really nice to have. You can get a key item out of that because you can go check the Corneria locked area. You can check a whole bunch of easy trap tiles in the inner sea. Fryteeth selling that Excal for a bundle, gonna head back and pick up his key.
I don't hate that move. I mean, really, it's a black wizard swinging a weapon. It's not gonna do that much.
Hey man, why you got to give the Black Wizard a hard time? I mean, they can contribute, but no, I completely agree with you. That's the play. Get the key. The key is so big. Now you have your vendor item. You know that you can spend money freely on other things. Fryteeth might even pick up that lock. Deciding not to, he's going to warp out, hit the inn, maybe check the waterfall before leaving.
Yeah, you're here. Why not check it? I mean, really, it'd be nothing but a pain to come back to.
Yeah, so okay, Fryteeth's gonna check the waterfall, and as you were saying, does make a lot of sense. We've got warp, so we only have to get in as far as the item itself. Oh, hurts to see all these mud goals without. Oh, we do have nuke now, but Fryteeth being economical with the charges, and that makes sense because we don't know what that trap tile is yet. This is going to be a boatload of experience though for Fryteeth. Pickles and Beer, on the other hand,
Oh my!
making his way through ordeals. What did we see there? I missed it.
Mud goals have thunder.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's not good. Mud goals are normally pretty common in the waterfall. If we're lucky, they rolled encounter 7 or encounter 8 and we're not going to see them again. But that's not fun.
Yeah, no, that was an unpleasant surprise for Fryteeth there. He was, starting to burn him down a little bit, and then one of them busts out with thunder and just, wipes a party. Or would have if he didn't reset.
Yeah, he did the preemptive reset a little bit there. Whiz Mummy, something that you like to see when you've got Fire and Harm magic. This could be some good levels for these parties. They're still hurting a little bit as Fryteeth is only hitting level 10.
Yeah, the Whiz Mummies looks like they've got the little bit north of 300 hit points, but the regular mummies are, well, they're very flammable.
Yeah, Fryteeth sees 2 Whiz Mummies, thinks about it, decides that getting the item is the more important move at this point in time, and I agree with that. Sees a blue D at the trap tile, and I think we're dealing with A-sides.
Yeah, just a single one. I believe that's A-side. That being said, oof, it's still a hurty hit.
Yeah, the B-sides, actually, I did just see this earlier in practice today. I think they're 1 to 3 on B-sides, but maybe they're 2 to 3 on B-sides. So if they're 1 to 3, we could still be dealing with B-sides without knowing it. But if they're 2 to 3, then this is definitely A-side. And if you have no idea what I'm saying right now, don't worry, that makes 2 of us.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, there are 2 different encounter tables that can be used for the spike tiles, the trap tiles. One of them is what you see in vanilla, where they are not quite as painful, but you don't get as much XP. That's the A side. The B sides are alternatives that aren't used in the vanilla game. They are more dangerous, but they are full of XP.
Yeah, so Classic Gamer got the eagle eyes on, picked out that we saw a single Earth earlier on, so we're definitely on A side because if we'd been on B, that would have been 2 to 4 Earths. So a Fryteeth going in, cashing in the crown, didn't see what he's going to get out of it though.
The floater.
Oh, that's big.
Yeah, because another good thing about Northwest Castle, aside from getting the floaters, there's a couple of spike tiles you can check here that are safe spike tiles if you choose.
Yeah, this is great. Fryteeth with that early completion of Marsh 2 that turned up to be nothing but the slab. Well, now we know where Lefane is, and we know that Melmond is going to be one of the 2 floater-locked towns. So that's going to be another thing that Fryteeth can pretty much just cross off the list now. Fryteeth, I would say, definitely out ahead with that find.
Yeah, he is definitely, at least in my eyes, got a bit of a lead. especially since Pickles and Beer still has to go through Waterfall. But he is about to find the lovely place that is Elfland at Onrak.
Yeah, so the difference between them right now, a couple of minutes for sure, but I wouldn't go as far as to say it's 7. And that's a Topher wipe right there. We are dealing with clan bosses, so that, if nothing else, puts them still, this is by no means over yet. And there's still a lot of other things that could happen before then because, well, we haven't checked Sky yet. And is that the only dungeon we haven't seen yet? Because we have seen Ordeals.
We have not seen C either, because no Oxyale.
Good point. Right. So that's another routing thing. If one of them ends up being able to go mode one of those two, that's going to save them some time. But looking at their items right now, with Cube, Oxyale, and Rod all still in the wind, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of checking.
Yeah, I'm expecting that we're probably going to see the lead swap back and forth a couple of more times, just because, well, as we're all so fond of saying, rando gonna rando.
Yeah, and I just want to point out Pickles and Beer picking up Quad X, which according to Lord Fizzlebeef is the best spell in the game. fryteeth doesn't have that, so, that one ends up being the game changer. We'll know.
And Pickles and Beer deciding to hold on to the X-Cal and not get the key quite yet. And fryteeth finding the tail from the ferry.
Yeah, that one is not great. I mean, we know that we can promote and get Fade, but we've already got Nuke on our Red Wizard, so that's not going to be something to write home about. Interestingly, I don't think we've seen any of the life spells yet.
I don't think we have either. And, there's part of me that also wonders, if you were to promote with this black belt, would you actually have a 0 MDef growth? I might actually have to test that out later.
So the Malice in question is a -1 MDef per level. The black belt after promotion gets 1 MDef per level. So does that bring it back to 0? I'd like to know the answer to that question too. I don't think it's something that most people would want to test, because even without that, you get so much more MDef with your unpromoted black belt that, generally speaking, the grind is always going to be done before you do that promotion. But that's an interesting question.
Yeah, no, I'm probably actually just going to run through this seed in a little bit of an accelerated fashion, knowing where things are, just so I can answer that question because, curiosity. And looks like fryteeth found a bit of a dud check in the Corneria locked. He found the ruby.
Okay, well, Ruby, and speaking of the Ruby, going over, doing the starter check, and getting some vanilla rod. So we've got one of those important end game key items, but it doesn't help us with Sea or Sky much yet. We still can't get into either one of those. So fryteeth is heading down, gonna cash in the slab. I think is gonna be the thing that makes a difference. We find Crescent, though. There's a free item here that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, honestly, and the gold Cheerios, that's not a bad find. A little on the expensive side, but it's at least you know where they're at, and it's not at the vanilla Lefane spot.
Yeah, 27,000 for a gold +1. I think that's pretty fair. We're going to see Bracken Temper at level 6, and one of those is going to be out of reach for us. I think Brack maybe we won't be able to cast before promotion, but Temper we got. That's more important, I would argue, especially with Nuke and a black belt. We get TNT. fryteeth is going to be maybe headed back to Dwarves because we're going to have to find some way to get into Sea or Sky.
Yeah, I expect he'll head back to Dwarfs after he go gets the slab translated, because, well, you're here, you got to do it.
Yeah, and we're going to see level 5 magic down here as well. Could be a chance at one of those life spells. I like the encounters on the way to Lefane, and fryteeth here is choosing to go with a kind of a hybrid run Fire 3 strat. I wouldn't mind seeing a couple of levels here. fryteeth is still a bit low on those, and we do, even if we find a grind, we're going to have to find some way to get that black belt up to the levels where it can start taking things down one hit at a time.
Yeah, and pro rings rolling down as well. I mean, you'll take them, but they're not pretty to take.
No, but then again, it's kind of nice that they're that cheap. Fryteeth is not going to have to come back here. He's able to buy all 3 of them, so that's kind of nice. Gets the slab translated. Let's hope that we don't see Life 2 for sale, and it's learnable, and we don't have the money for it. Heal 3 is in that category. That's a pretty useful spell to have, but I guess Pro Rings is worth not having Heal 3.
Heal 3, yeah, I'd say Pro Ring's better than that, and and also Bane, but well, it's just Bane.
Fryteeth couldn't remember if he'd already translated his slab or not. I think we are definitely seeing a little bit of nerves here. Pickles and Beer, on the other hand, getting the business from this Frostgator.
And this Pickles and Beer just keeps running into that bad part of the encounter table. You know, the entire thing.
Yeah, commendable that both of these runners are at the 44-minute mark. They've got a lot of progression done. Fryteeth is already in the air, has most of the key items that he needs, doesn't have a grind yet, but does have pretty good spells. Notably, I don't think we've seen Fast yet, but we do have Temper and we do have Lock, so that will get the job done when you've got a black belt if it's high enough level. We're going to see what this TNT turns into. On the other hand, Pickles and Beer is headed back up, likely going to get that floater very soon as Fryteeth picks up the crystal at the Dwarf Cave.
And yeah, going back to Lefane at Melmond, because Lefane and Melmond apparently decided that it was trading day. See what we get out of these, out of the Sky Descendants, or Descendants of the Sky people. Well, that's a thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate seeing the Power Gauntlet when I don't have Fast, but we do already have Temper, so it's not the best. Fryteeth is going to cash that crystal in. I think this is going to have to turn into something useful at this point, and maybe it could be the herb. We could get it stretched out a little bit further. It's not, though.
Goodness.
It's the white shirt, so we're going to have to go into... What's left?
Oh, it's going to be in Mirage. Because they've got the chime.
Yeah. So this only rarely comes into play, and quick thinking there by my co-commentator Hate 13. I would have probably been scratching my head a little bit longer on that one. You can actually get the incentive item on the bottom 2 floors of Mirage, and it can be the cube. So either that's what it's going to be, or it'll be the Oxale, and we'll have to get out and go pick up the cube in the sea and come back to Sky.
Is it wrong that I'm hoping that it's the Oxyale in Mirage?
Well, it is wrong, but the only way it could be worse is if it was the herb first.
Oh, that, yeah, that does make my evil little heart giggle. Yeah, that's what I want to see.
So Fryteeth finally checking the Earth Trap tiles, coming up with the Seafood Party Pack as the best option, decides that's not going to work, maybe heading to Volcano now. I kind of like this play. We've got trap tiles in here, we've got gear in here, and most importantly, we can actually get an Orblet. So this is good for all kinds of reasons. I'm going to take a second and check in with chat here. We've got a little bit of a conversation asking Frost Detail better than the Mage Tile. They're both okay. They both don't come up with great XP. I would say it depends on how they roll and how easy they are to take down. That would be my guess on that one. If the mages have fighters mixed in with them, then that's a much better tile. But yeah, just basic mages versus basic frosties kind of feels like a bit of a pick'em.
Yeah, and Fryteeth finding the worst spike tile in the game, the Phantom tile. For those of you who are not familiar, the Phantom tile is, in vanilla, the last spike tile that you encounter and the only spike tile that you run into in the Temple of Fiends Revisited. It hits like a truck, and if you kill it, which I believe it's unrunnable in vanilla, you get 1 gold and 1 XP because the devs hate you.
Yeah, there is actually an enemy called Troll in this game, but Phantom is the real troll.
And
So,
Volcano not providing a good spike tile for fryteeth either.
yeah, did you see if he checked the chests?
He didn't check any of the chests. He went in, he checked the spike tiles, and then he popped out. He is looking for a grind.
Yeah, and that makes sense with a black belt composition like this one. This is okay. Fryteeth resetting out of it. I don't know. I might have taken that to level 21 just to get my black belt hitting.
Honestly, at this point, I would have probably personally kept going down through Volcano because there's so many other trap tiles to check there. I mean, yes, they can be a little bit risky, but at this point, you gotta try and find something.
I'm kind of with you on that. When Fryteeth first went in there, that's what I thought we were going to see. I thought we were going to see trap checks all the way down and then take carry out if you find nothing. However, Fryteeth does find sandworms, and this may be off the power cycle.
Damages! Yay! And Pickles and Beer about to find the disappointment that is the ruby, or has already found the disappointing ruby.
Yeah, so
Fryteeth did check the Northwest Castle spots earlier, and yeah, he noped out of them because they were garbage.
Yeah, it is fighting sandworms again. I think this has to be off the cycle at this point. This'll do. You know, you get your black belt up to the point where you can hit them, and then you just sit on this to at least level 32. Fryteeth, though, is continuing, so either that wasn't off the power cycle, or Fryteeth is deciding that it's not good enough.
All right, there's the herb. It's not quite as evil as it could have been, but you know.
Well, actually, it is, because that herb, that's the worst possible thing we could have seen. The herb is going to turn into either the oxyale or the cube. If it turns into the oxyale, that means that the cube is in sea. If it turns into the cube, it means that the oxyale is in the sky. So pretty nasty, because we're going to have to dig out. Well, no, oxyale can't be in sky because we've already seen the item there.
Yeah, I was about to say it's got to be the oxyale.
The herb's going to turn directly into the oxyale, right? And then this cube will be in C.
And this is a wonderfully mean seed. We can thank Danny for that.
Yeah, well, I mean, we can thank the flags and the spring tournament planning committee. Actually, I think is where we really need to take a hard look on this one. They actually made it easier. It was originally not going to have 2 bonuses. I think it was 1 bonus and 3 malices.
Oh my.
So it was pretty rough early on, and then people kind of pointed out that, well, it's basically impossible, and there was an adjustment made. The extra bonus was the big one, I think, that came through from that conversation, which I was not a part of. But anyhow, Fryteeth is going to see the oxyale here at Elf.
Oh, classic gamer. Oh, that evil little comment makes me smile, hoping that the cube could be in TFC.
Yeah, there's some runners that will check that chest first just because of the bad voodoo associated. If you're not familiar, there is a room in C that for some reason is locked with the Mystic Key. And it doesn't really make sense that there are doors locked with the Mystic Key at that stage in the game, because you're not supposed to be able to even get there without it. But yet there is that one room that's locked with the Mystic Key in there for some reason. And it was more of a thing in past tournaments, because with loose items being the way they were, sometimes people would go into sea and they wouldn't have access to that room, and that would be the one that they needed to get into. So it became known as DFC, that friendly chest. So yeah, history lesson aside, we're hoping that it's not going to be there, because even with the key, that's often one of the last rooms that you check. Pickles and Beer is headed back to the Lefane area. Fryteeth is in Earth and about to light an orb.
Yep, I'm wondering if he's going to check the spike tiles in Earth Armory as well, or if he's just going to plow on through.
Yeah, it's you don't see that a lot, but with these flags, knowing where all of the different trap tiles are and some of the more exotic ones can make the difference between finding that elusive eye or agama and winning easily and not necessarily. So, to that effect, as Hay just pointed out, there are some trap tiles in the next floor down that you don't normally get checked. I would add to that list of exotic ones would be the marsh bottom would be the other big ones that people don't often check. And there's also a few on the death floor in C, where even if you find a grind, you're not happy to find it because it's hard to walk it out.
Grinding in C is a fool's errand. It is nothing but pain. That's my thought on that.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Pickles and Beer giving us a look at some sexy new tech. This is something I only saw a few races ago. You can fly to this encounter zone with the airship and gets rewarded with the best of the overworld finds. We've got blue steak.
Yum, yum, blue steak, yum. Now, unfortunately, I'm not sure how deep in the encounter table this is, because I don't think he's done a hard reset anywhere recently, but either way, even finding this is still a useful thing.
Yeah, it's always nice to take down a couple of T-bones, they're called, for Pickles and Beer. Jacob are asking in chat, is fryteeth not going to grind? Well, I think fryteeth's going to have to grind before finishing the game because we do have clamp bosses, so you're going to need to do something with only one new caster, or sorry, two new casters. I think the idea is, well, I was going to say checking those Earth Armory checks, but that hasn't happened. So fryteeth is just burning through, getting orbs, and maybe is putting off the overworld checks until a little bit later.
Yeah, at this point, I can imagine just going up and punching Lich just out of sheer frustration as well, because it's almost an hour in. It's 54 minutes and 50 some odd seconds, and you've just got your first orb lit. You're probably feeling a little bit panicked because you're up against another quite good player. So yeah, I can imagine that he might be a little bit thinking that he's behind.
Yeah, now fryteeth going back and doing what we thought might happen a little bit earlier, which is taking out Volcano. There are still trap tiles that we haven't seen in here. There is the vanilla Agama tile and the vanilla Red Dragon tile that we're going to see on our way down, most likely. And that's maybe the difference maker. We haven't seen the really easy tiles yet.
Yeah, this is the good tiles have been hiding away, pretty heavily hiding away at least.
Yeah, Pickles and Beer, on the other hand, filling up on blue steak. He's found his grind. He's gonna take it as high as he can. I would think that looking at his inventory, he's got lots of items and is probably just going to be mowing on this for a little while. Although still making checks, maybe he didn't see the blue steak off of the hard reset, but Chanigan is saying that it was. So I don't know what Pickles and Beer is looking for.
Well, there's as Chanigan also mentioned, there's the long run after the hard reset, and then there's a block of encounters that come up pretty quickly. So it looks like what he's doing is he's, taking the one blue steak and then checking through the rest of the rapidly growing encounters.
Yeah, okay, so that makes sense. If you found a bunch of good fights in a row, it might be faster than just constantly hard resetting for a stake, constantly hard resetting for a stake. So that's some advanced black belt strats on display by Pickles and Beer. fryteeth, on the other hand, is on to the Agama floor, and we're probably going to get to see a look at what this tile is. Man, I want to know.
Come on,
fryteeth is
fryteeth.
healing up.
Come on, fryteeth. Check it. Check it.
Sphinx.
Aw, womp womp.
So we've still got the red dragon tile. Let's see if fryteeth checks that. I think he has to. Yes, he will. Fire. Now, if this was 4 fires, I think we'd be cooking. But with just one, fryteeth's not satisfied. It's going to move on, take carry down,
Yeah.
and then just keep moving, I think.
Yeah, I can't blame him for skipping out on that. Just a single one. Ugh.
Yep. So Pickles and Beer, unequipping the flame sword for some reason, is still checking to see, really just going through the menu on what's available in the desert. You know, he sat down at the bistro. Coronavirus restrictions have just come off, and he's looking for what's on offer, and is going to take this T-bone. I don't know if he's going to be able to get it down with just this one black belt, but if he does, that's going to be a lot of experience. Can he pull it off? This is important for Pickles and Beer. This is going to dedicate how he feels moving on. He gets it down. That's a big chunk of experience all the way up to level 21. We're hitting harder now, and all of a sudden we've got the ability to take down more blue stakes if we find him.
And we found Carrie is a bit of a hard-hitting troll. She hits you with all the status elements and then mauls you.
Oh no, fryteeth has got to feel behind now. That's the worst. You always think of Carrie, hey, it's only the second fiend. You don't tend to go into that fight thinking that you're going to take a wipe. fryteeth does. It doesn't lose you as much time as you might think. Volcano is very fast when you're just go moding it, but the frustration level has to be mounting. fryteeth, though, making the right decisions and coming up to desert. So even if he doesn't know it, he's not as far behind Pickles as you may feel.
Yeah, I mean, Pickles and Beer does have the level advantage now, as long as he doesn't keep getting eaten by the blue stakes he's trying to chomp on. So, yeah, this is, I would say at this point, whilst fryteeth does have the Earth Orblet, I'd say Pickles and Beer probably has a little bit of a lead at this point.
Yeah, I would not disagree, although it's not just the orb that fryteeth has. fryteeth also has the Oxyadal, so that progression lead does matter, and it will make leveling up a little bit faster.
True point, true point. fryteeth will get 10% extra XP per kill, so, you know, there is that.
Yeah, chat's riffing a little bit about the crits on T-Rexes. T-Rexes have nasty crits. I don't know the stats on it, but they've got to be among the highest in the game. There's a few enemies that do. There's the saber-toothed tigers. There's the T-Rexes. I can't think of any others right now, but that's one of the ones that tend to hit hard.
Yeah, T-Rex. Tiny arms, giant painful mouth.
No kidding. So Pickles and Beer continuing to do that solo grind, making some headway, and even taking down some Ankylos just because they're on the way, I would think. fryteeth finding the blue stake, so they're both doing the same thing at the same time, more or less, and really got a race on their hands here.
Yep, we've got him rolling now, as long as that black belt doesn't get eaten. All right, that's one down. Bringing the black belt up to level 17 all of a sudden.
Yeah, and Chad asking about, why take a thief if you're gonna make him sleep the whole time. Classic Gamer pointing out early running, and yeah, I'd agree. That's probably the thinking. Especially with their black mages having a -10 to their luck, this was a party that really couldn't run without that thief very well, and it matters early on when you don't have much black magic yet. The other thing was the thieves did start out with access to the katana pre-promotion and level 1 black spells. So if there had been nuke at level 1, or if we had found the katana in Topher, it would have been really important in that early game. And with the black belt, you're going to end up making most of your characters sleep anyways. So it's kind of a percentage play, one that I totally agreed with. And I think it's worked out well for both of them. I mean, with Party Draft, you're both running the same party anyway.
Yeah, so that thief being brought was not just a, hey, I'm doing this run. It's also, hey, I'm doing this to drop an anchor on my opponent as well.
Yeah, that's the other reason why people will pick thieves and white mages if they don't like them. It's because they feel like, hey, it's going to be a problem for the other guy, and then that's where the meta game comes into play a little bit. It's for that reason that I play with thieves and white mages a lot. I like them because I know that other people don't like them. So By all means, let's do it.
Yeah, I spent a bit of time before my last match. By a bit of time, I mean like 4 days practicing exclusively Three Thieves and a Red Mage.
Ooh.
Yeah, I apparently felt like hurting myself and wanted to punish myself with Three Thieves and Red Mage seats.
I mean, after promotion, you've got 3 ninjas and a red wizard. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a matter of surviving to get promotion.
Oh, you just run from everything.
Yeah, but then if you run into like, oh no, I've run into some great imps. I'm all level 1 and they've killed me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of
Definitely.
funny though.
Yep. So fryteeth doing a little bit of checking up in Gaia is going to head back to the desert. Pickles and Beer is still grinding. We're getting 5 hits on that black belt, 6 hits on the black belt. Takes a wipe there. Not going to be a big problem. He's been saving all the way along here. So fryteeth getting 4 hits is going to be behind, but not by much.
Yeah, that is the one good thing about these overworld grinds is that you tend to save a lot. So if you wipe, it's not as much of a kick in the pants as if you are grinding in ice and wipe.
Yeah, and I just saw level 29 for Pickles and Beer, level 22 for fryteeth. So that's a noticeable lead. Pickles and Beer is about to get to level 32, which is that next crucial breakpoint. You start getting 8 hits, but already doing lots of big damage to those T-Rexes and being able to heal up. Pickles and Beer is on the downslope of this grind.
Yeah, he is definitely beyond or over that hill and just getting to the point where it's just going to keep accelerating.
Yep, so the T-Rex hitting for pretty anemic damage at this point, doing 75 to 150 without the crit. Pickles and Beer hits level 31, is very close to that level 32 breakpoint. fryteeth also handing out big damage, getting up to level 25. Wow, really climbing that hill quickly behind Pickles and Beer. In terms of a grind, they're both pretty much in it, and they're both outside of Sky without the ability to finish it, though.
Yeah, it's this is going to be a bit of a rough run for them. Like, even once they actually get the fist cannon fully online, they're still going to have to get through Sky and Sea, and oof, that's going to be a mean one.
Yeah, so they're gonna finish their grind at anywhere between 107 and 110, just a few minutes away from now. They're gonna be able to blow through Sea for the most part. They're gonna still have to find that item. Sky, on the other hand, well, they're gonna know that that's gonna be well, they've already got Sky item. So they'll have everything. They'll be able to just go through, beat Tiamat, and it's going to be a question of, is Topher going to do Topher things?
Yeah, how Topher is Topher going to be? And also, for those who are new to watching these or new to the concept of the Final Fantasy Randomizer, I'm going to go ahead and plug this now. We are currently in the middle of our Duckling Boot Camp. It's an 8-week program where basically some of the more veteran folks in the community each week go through with a specific set of flags and show you the ropes around them, help you speed up your times, just help you figure out things. I am going through it right now myself because I missed the last one, and it has been quite useful for me. If that sounds like something you're interested in, go ahead and jump in our Discord, and we can get y'all hooked up with that, and we can point you to where the first few weeks are. Yeah, and we can help get you up to speed, hopefully in time for our Duckling Derby, which will be starting up next month.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Both of the runners that are here tonight are ducklings from the past year, with fryteeth starting in summer 2020, and Pickles and Beer was in the winter 2021 crop. I myself, like you, was a recent duckling grad. I ran in the duckling program that graduated in winter 2021. It's a great way to learn the game. I mean, I'd played it before Randomizer, and always loved it. But there's a lot of jargon that I know we've been throwing around here, perhaps a little bit too much, but you can get a little bit of exposure to what all of this stuff we're talking about is in a bit of a more organized fashion, and it's a lot of fun. So definitely come check it out.
Yeah, and also as somebody who is semi-recently, about 2.5, 3 months ago, I joined the community. I found the community to be very, very welcoming and very nice community because, well, the community is very nice because sometimes the game isn't.
That's an interesting way to put it.
And
So,
go ahead.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I go ahead. I see to you.
Okay, well, I was just going to say that as Jay Coper is pointing out, fryteeth's over the hump. Pickles and Beer is just about to finish his grind, just hit level 40. So it looks like he's going to go at least to 42. Wouldn't be surprised if he continues on to 46, 48-ish because of the nerf to magic defense. So I'll just stop for a second and rewind here. When you're grinding a black belt in Final Fantasy Randomizer, normally you'll stop either at 32 or 42, and the reason is because at 32 you get 8 hits, and at 42 you get 10 hits, and that dictates your offensive capabilities. One of the benefits for going to 42 is that you're also getting magic defense buffs, and by the time you get to 42, it's basically as if you've got a ribbon built onto your black belt. He's almost immune to magic at that point. However, with this particular flag set and this particular seed, if you're still following, there's been a bit of a penalty applied to the black belt's magic defense growth. And so you have to go a little bit further than 42 to get that full ribbon capability. But Pickles and Beer making the conventional play, stopping at 42, deciding that he's not too worried about not having quite a ribbon built onto his black belt at this point yet.
Yeah, it looks like at this point he's just like, I'm just gonna roll with what I've got now. It's time to get moving. Oh, and hey, Pro Cape's available at wow, brain just kind of sloughed off on me there.
Gaia, which is Crescent.
Yeah.
Not one you often see, but at +1 for 5,000, yeah, I'd pick him up and put him on my two mages.
Yeah, I mean, given the rest of the armor that you can't equip, those Pro Capes are pretty good.
Yeah, Chanigan's pointing out though that the Pro Capes were in Pickle's inventory. That makes a little bit more sense. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen them for sale out of this flag set, so it makes sense that that's what happened. Pickles and Beer is going to head back and clear out Volcano. Going to see if he can take out that fire orb. Now, I believe it was fryteeth we saw tried to go in here already and did wipe to carry, but with a fully loaded black belt, I don't think Pickles and Beer is going to have a problem.
Yeah, I don't think Carrie's going to stand up to the fully armed and operational black belt.
Yeah, I'm just picturing like, I don't know, the black belt and the black mage are just doing some kind of like Commando 1987 style like manly like handshake / arm wrestle thing, proving how strong and beastly they are at this point.
I could I could picture that, and that makes me giggle.
Yep. Just have to make a reference from about the area of the game, which is getting pretty long in the tooth by now.
This game's only 20 years old. It's only ever going to be 20 years old, please.
Yeah, nobody checked the math on that for 8 to 13th. Let's just let him think that.
Yes, 20 years ago was the 1990s, right? Yes, it was. It has to have been.
Okay, so Pickles and Beer is going to head down. Doesn't need to check the trap tiles. Is just going to head straight down. With Volcano being a fairly short dungeon and having these damage tiles, you're not going to see a lot of fights. It's just straight to the boss and get it done. fryteeth, though, hard on Pickles and Beer's heals at this point in time. So, and fryteeth does have that orb and item lead. So I don't know if fryteeth maybe cut the grind a little bit shorter. Does seem to have a little bit less health on his black belt.
I think fryteeth cut it at 32 rather than running to 42.
Okay, so this is going to be big. One of the reasons why you might stop at level 32 is if you have access to fast, but they don't. So that's going to be an interesting play. Maybe fryteeth's just hoping to pick up more levels later on, or hoping Topher's going to be kind, but with clamped bosses, I don't really see that happening. Do you?
No, I do not see Topher being kind at all. This is a very, very risky play.
Yep, but sometimes you got to risk it to make the wins. And fryteeth is correctly assessing it where Pickles and Beer is at this stage. Is cutting that grind short is keeping him in the race. So let's see what happens as fryteeth goes after Carrie. Going to get a little bit of revenge for that wipe earlier.
Oh no, fryteeth did go to 42. It just he had a much more efficient grind, it seems, then.
Okay, yeah, I don't know how he pulled that off, but that's pretty big for fryteeth. Pickles and Beer is now looking like he's a little bit behind because he's retracing ground that we know fryteeth has already got done, and fryteeth is about to blow this Carrie up.
Yeah, here is revenge, Carrie. I hope you like it. Wow, she actually survived a shot from the black belt. Only one, but still.
Yeah, so chat asking if the cube is guaranteed to be in C. Yes, it is. We've already seen all of the other checks, and that's the only one left.
And it looks like fryteeth is opting to go fishing rather than running up to Sky right now. I can't blame him. He's in the area. And oh boy, fryteeth is in the overly mossy sea.
Yeah, a bit of a palette swap going on there. Jay Coper in chat, just saying what I was about to say, reading my mind there. C routing is one of the things that could make a difference here. fryteeth is choosing to go left first with a right chest check before going left, which is something we've been talking about as a community, and I really like this route. That's how I normally do it when I come in here, and fryteeth is going to do this. Pickles and Beer might decide to go mermaids first. I don't think that he will, though, because normally people only do that when they feel like they need the experience. So it could still happen, though, and we're going to see. The other thing that will make a difference is, well, that's it. I keep thinking that fryteeth has that lower level black belt, but somehow he just managed to pull up on Pickles and Beer. So it's pretty close right now. I would say within a couple of minutes.
Yeah, this is ladies and gentlemen and everyone else in between and outside of, we've got ourselves a race.
Yep. So fryteeth continuing, like you said, very mossy. We've got a green palette on the map, and we've got the grasslands in the battle map there. So fryteeth is coming through and gonna give us a look at these couple of chests here. Just left his runner, and that could make a difference, but we're pretty high level at this point. Most things are going to run from us. The real question is, are we going to come across this item? And so far, no good.
Honestly, I'm surprised that fryteeth bothered reviving the thief. I mean, it's pretty low level compared to the rest of the party, and you don't really need him for the running now.
Yeah, I mean, it is nice to have that extra runner, even if it wasn't a thief, just an extra chance at that run command. It's what I would do too if I had my black belt already up. And then the other thing is that you could get some levels on your thief, which could help it survive a little bit longer in Topher. Again, that running can be pretty big as you move through some of those tougher floors. But anyhow, it's definitely a, decision could go either way. fryteeth is going to nuke down some lobsters. Pickles and Beer is going to take out Lich. And we're going to get a look at these last couple of chests. It's not looking good for fryteeth finding this item on the left-hand side.
Yep, he's got the 4 chests left in the actual Sharknado room. And, well, we'll see if he's lucky or if he doesn't get paid for it.
Oh, look at this. We just saw Glare go through a level 42 black belt.
Oh,
that's gotta hurt fryteeth's morale.
Well, it's level 42 black belt with the MDef of, let me see here. It's got 50. Yeah, it's got 52 less MDef at this point. So
it's not fully, and this is something that we had started to talk about earlier. Yeah, you're not at full ribbon protection at this point. Still should be pretty good though. You were saying something about 52. I don't know how the numbers work. How does that compare in terms of like percentages?
Actually, it should be minus 51. I don't know what the starting value for the black belt is, but normally for a black belt at 42, you would be starting value plus 41 times 4, which is 164. So yeah, you'd have at least
So
160.
pretty big. That's like something like 20%, 25% difference.
Yep. And yes, I'm doing math on Twitch, so sue me.
Yeah, my nobody checked the math on my rough percentage estimates there either, but I heard 51 out of 150, and that sounded less than a third. Anyways, so the point is, it is not as invulnerable as we're used to a level 42 black belt being.
Yeah, point is, big difference.
Yeah, so we're going to take a look at these last couple of chests here. Find the Aegis Shield. That's not going to be of much use. Zombie D, this would have been good to find earlier, but again, this is not a place that you want to take fights.
Yeah.
So Fryteeth is just going to knock him down right quick, and let's see if we get the item. There's only one more before we have to go to mermaids, and we have to go to mermaids.
Yep, and Pickles and Beer is also making the same play, so that's going to be a bit of a wash unless Pickles and Beer gets eaten by those undead as well.
Yeah, that's definitely given Pickles and Beer a chance to catch up. It's not super likely to see that happen. So, well, unless they both came in off the hard reset, but I don't think we saw this now yet.
Yeah, this is getting to be right close now.
Yep. Very, very close. Game 1, semifinals. This is one of 2 semifinals matches. We've got Fryteeth versus Pickles and Beer in this one, and we've got Caleb versus Wrigglypuff in the other. So we're pretty much looking at the best of the best at this point. It's in this wing of the semifinals, we've ended up with the new school, and then the other wing, we've got the more established veterans, and we're going to see a clash between them, one way or the other, in the finals. So this is going to be an exciting series to watch.
Very much so. I mean, to get here, Fryteeth has taken out Zero Cool, Saracen, Krellin, and Jatt. Pickles and Beer took out Darendries, Clementitas, Chanigan, and Zenobian. So it's not like they didn't, run into some tough competition. They both fought and earned their way here.
Oh yeah, let's talk about what it takes to get to the semifinals in the Final Fantasy Randomizer Spring Tournament. Not only did they each beat 4 opponents in brackets, like you just said, to get here, but they also had to get into brackets in the first place, which meant pod stage, which meant playing up to 3 matches there and having to go 1 or 2 up. So, I mean, these are people who have put time into learning how to play this game. They've gotten very good at it, and they really deserve our respect as they take out a really difficult flag set that only gets harder as the brackets get deeper.
Yeah, the semifinals and finals flag set, like I've run a lot of practice seeds, even for sides I wasn't on. This flag set was one of the ones where I was just like, nope. I'm not having fun with this one right now, doing it just as a personal thing. So yeah, this is a painful flag set.
Yeah, I completely agree, and I've put in my fair share of practice on it as well, and it can be really hard. I mean, we didn't see them experience as much early adversity as can happen, but they're dealing with a lot of blurses that make the end game harder. So, they're both kind of just making it through here and trying to make decisions about comfort level and trying to do all of this knowing that their opponent is playing at the top of their game right now. So it's got to be very stressful, and I hope that they have a chance to kind of take a second after the race, regardless of how it goes, and just chill out. It's high stakes, and Fryteeth finding a pro ring in mermaids is ahead in terms of checking. We're going to see this cube in here somewhere. If it's not here, then we are going to have to go back to TFC, but thankfully that's not going to be necessary as we find the cube.
Yep, Bubbles was hiding it in her closet.
Yeah, was that Bubbles herself, the famous?
That was Bubbles herself.
Okay, I believe we had chat. Was shouting out Bubbles a little bit earlier. So yeah, no, she's famous because I believe her dialogue is, "Are we going to turn into Bubbles?" The story is something along the lines of Kraken taking over, and somehow that means that the mermaids are losing their vital force and going to turn into Bubbles. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, mermaids are dying, and when mermaids die, they turn into sea foam.
That's really sad.
You can thank the original Little Mermaid for that lore.
Really? I did not know that.
Yep, the Hans Christian Andersen version is a bit darker.
Okay, when you said the original Little Mermaid, I have to confess I was thinking Disney.
Yeah, I figured such. It's a common thing.
So, so yeah, corporate appropriation of folk tales aside, we've got Fryteeth in the sky. Doesn't have to check boxes in here. Doesn't need to. Is going to just go straight through to see the boss.
Yeah, at this point, if Fryteeth opens another box, I will be surprised.
Yeah, me too. Fryteeth is got that big black belt, and I don't know if we saw any ribbons.
I don't believe we have.
The thing is, it doesn't really matter because, as Chanigan's pointing out, we never saw life. So even if we did have a ribbon, it's kind of like, who do you put it on? I mean, I guess it'd be nice to have the black or red mage be more invulnerable, but we're really leaning on the black belt, especially because we don't have fast. So it's pretty much all just up to the black belt with the power gauntlet at this stage.
Yeah, this is going to be a rough fight. Or not fight, but rough Topher.
Yeah, I'm thinking it through. No defense sword, but we do have the white shirt, so at least we can throw out some invis stacks there to buff up our defense a bit, but it's mostly just going to be trying to outdamage them. And with their stats clamped at 100 to 200%, that could be an issue if we come up against evasive fiends. We're going to have to make sure that we have a black mage caster around to cast Law.
And we see Fryteeth on the Bridge of Destiny already, and kind of hoping to see a robot, but I don't think we're gonna.
Yeah, well, we're seeing some good experience fights here. We don't really need it anymore. There was 2 fighters just now, and then a couple of slimes. These are hydras, often go down easy and come up with a lot of experience points, but we're just trying to pound through all these fights. Fryteeth gets through, doesn't see Warmat, is going to cure 4 up. We're going to see a Tiamat fight right now.
Yeah, Cure 4. It's a whole lot more effective than shotgun and potions.
I think that's written on like the side of the spell tome when you go into the magic shop. Much more effective than heal strats. So Saracen pointing out in chat that with the MDef issue, I'd actually be worried about Zap and Bane and Topher. I would too. We've got pro rings, at least Fryteeth does, on his characters that aren't the black belt. But with the black belt not being completely immune to magic, Zap or Bane could kill it, and then we have no way to bring it back. So that is a concern. We did just hit level 44. I wonder if Fryteeth is going to take some more levels here in the desert.
I don't know, it doesn't look like it. Looks like Fryteeth is just like, nope, I've got everything, I'm in go mode.
Yeah, and I think it's a good play. At least you can see what Topher has, and then if it does have nasty things, then you can go and grind. It makes sense. It's an hour and 27 minutes. It's time to get this thing wrapped up.
Yeah, and as Saracen is pointing out in chat, Pro Ring doesn't protect against Zap or Bane, because Zap is time elemental, Bane is poison elemental.
Yeah, good point. I mean, wow, like talk about something that could really ruin your day. One of those things comes out, Yeah, with no ribbons, you could see a lot of people go down.
Yeah, this gonna be a tough Topher. Oh, and the Chimeras had damage poison. Ouch.
Yeah, that's kind of nasty because we can see them in packs of I think up to three, 2 or 3, and not just on this floor. So that could be something that ruins our day, but wouldn't be too worried about it. Airs drop and glance, that's a bit of a problem. We're going to have to get past them in the air floor, and yeah, they're turning a whole bunch of people to stone.
Oh my. Yeah, that those glancing airs, that could be a problem.
Yeah, very high encounter rate on that air floor. Normally, you're worried about the Twilight Party pack with the different vampires and whatnot, or just worms hitting hard. Oh, worms, there's another enemy with high crit rate. So Topher's showing us that it's got some things that could very potentially lead to wipes and lead changes, and being first to Topher is by no means guarantee a first to win.
Yeah, very much so. There's been so many times this tournament that we've seen, all right, first to Topher, and then wipe, and wipe, and wipe, and wipe. Topher going to Topher.
Yeah, I was a beneficiary of that in one of my races. So anyhow, Warmac is showing up on Pickles and Beer's side, so maybe Pickles and Beer is going to pick up some experience here. It looks like he will take the fight.
All praise our robot overlord.
Yeah, doing pretty good damage to Warmac. 2 swings, Warmac goes down. That's some healthy experience. That's going to be good for Pickles and Beer because that's extra magic defense on his black belt, and that could be critical.
Yeah, and unless you're level 50, an additional 21k XP, never a bad thing.
Yep. Fryteeth going to see a bunch of green Medusas. That's a bunch of good experience, but he is just going to go ahead and save his spell shots. I would have maybe dropped a Fire 3 there. I think might have not hurt to get that experience, but then again, Fryteeth doesn't know how far ahead or behind he is of Pickles and Beer. Every little bit counts, and when you level up in Topher, you're always taking the chance that you lose it if you wipe. So, the strategy is definitely sound. Fryteeth is through Lich, as if it wasn't even there. We're about to see carry.
Beating that carpet like, well, a carpet needs to be beaten after a long winter.
Yeah, so taking a look at my carpet right now, thinking maybe I should take it outside. But anyhow, Pickles and Beer is gonna head down. Looks like not too far behind Fryteeth. Gonna buy those potions. Air Orb's not lit, but there it goes. So Fryteeth has got everything. Pickles and Beer's got everything. Gonna head in, but Fryteeth is on the seafloor, and this is gonna be tough because we're gonna have to get past some big packs of monsters here.
Yeah, I blinked and I missed that carry fight. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, carry going up in a cloud of smoke is what usually happens when your black belt's at these kind of levels. We're about to see a real fiend refight though, because Kraken's coming up and 100 to 200% stats is probably going to be hitting like a Mack truck.
So there's no life casters, so who's Kraken gonna target first? That's a problem.
Yeah, it is. It's probably not going to one-shot the black belt if it hits that, but everything else is going to go down for sure with prejudice.
Yeah, unless the runners are lucky and Kraken rolls, oh look, I've got 9 lit 2s.
Yeah, I guess that's what they got to hope for at this point.
Oh, and the Gasties have Squint as well.
Oh, that's fun.
All
so
right.
Fryteeth dropping a white shirt and an Invis 2, going to go for that evasion. That's very wise. We've got 2 stacks on everybody. Kraken's got slow 2, but wasted on the Black Mage. That's really good. That means we're not going to see that from Chaos. So Fryteeth basically getting a free turn, going over into Nuke, and going to see if he can close this out right now. Kraken basically wastes another turn with an Ice 2. Here's a big swing from the Black Belt. only about 341 damage. Another white shirt coming out. We're up to 3 stacks. This is looking pretty good for Fryteeth. He's dropping some Cure 4s, dropping some nukes. Here's another hit. 6 hits for 761, and Kraken 2 goes down. Fryteeth is 1 fiend away from the final fight with Chaos.
And Pickles and Beer giving us our validation checks with those chests at least.
Oh, was there anything good?
No. Gods no. This seed wouldn't have anything kind to give anyone else.
No, that'd be too easy if there was a ribbon in there or something, right?
Very much so.
Okay, so Fryteeth is nuking down the Twilight Party pack on a high after taking out Kraken. Let's see what this Tiamat fight has in store. Hate, the microphone's all yours.
All right, we got we got the white shirt coming out in Invis 2 and Power Bonk. Turn order seems to be skying so far. Getting 2 stacks out of Asian out first. Wow, Fryteeth getting really lucky. Oh, and Zat comes out, knocking out the red mage. Thankfully enough, well, still got the white shirt. Punch, 4 hits, 396. Down goes the black mage. 8 hits, 543. Tia still alive. 3 hits, 192 on the black belt. 3 hits, 285 to the black belt. 6 hits, 396, and black belt takes out Tia before Tia takes out the black belt. Whew, that was a close one.
That was a close one. We saw that zap we were concerned about, and it only dropped on 1 light warrior. And then Tiamat, no slouch with the damage. If the turn order had gone a little bit differently, that might have gone a little bit differently. But Fryteeth makes it up, heals up, and it's mano a mano. Black belt versus Chaos.
Yeah, without that turn order, that black belt was well within the range that Tia was hitting for.
Yeah, so Classic Gamer predicting that we're going to have trouble without the defense. We do have slot 4, we do have the white shirt, but he's going straight for the Power Gauntlet. So Power Gauntlet 1, Chaos wastes a turn with the Lit 2. We're going to take a test swing. We're doing, 1045, looking pretty good for our damage. Chaos not hitting too hard back in return. We're going to do another one for 1100 damage. Chaos is hitting hard. It's going to be down to turn order. Can we do it now? 1129, Fryteeth takes the win. Game 1 to Fryteeth at 1 hour, 34 minutes, and 28 seconds.
Get your GGs out and chat for Fryteeth, because he's earned it.
Yeah, great race from Fryteeth. Let's see if we can get him in here for a quick post-race interview. And we have the ding. Fryteeth is here with us. Fryteeth, how are you feeling? You just got game 1 in the books.
Yeah, that was a little rough at the end.
Yeah, but you pulled it out, man.
Yeah, got some good turn order when I needed it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, things could have gone a little bit differently on Tiamat. They could have gone a little bit differently on Chaos, but you made it work. You went in there with, I think it was a level 44 black belt. Were you concerned about magic defense?
I was. When I was grinding, I considered going all the way up to 50, just because the MDef was, the -1 per level and the -10. So, but I hadn't felt good about my early game, and so I felt like I needed to go and see if we could make it.
Yeah, you ended up taking this pretty much the same approach to a grind as your opponent. Both of you ending up in the desert and taking blue stakes. Now, we weren't sure, did you have the blue stake off the power cycle, or was it a couple of encounters in?
It was off the power cycle, but it was pretty long off the power cycle.
Right, so you walked around and kind of checked basically all of the different regions to see if you could find like kind of a sequence that was better?
That's what I was looking for, but because after that, the first encounter was really far off, and then there were 2 more encounters within 4 steps, but I didn't find any of the zones that had more than 1 good encounter, so I said we'll go with the T-Rex because never found, looked like we were all on A sides, so never found the never found the Agama, never found the Eye.
Yeah, we saw basically almost all of the trap tiles were checked at one point or another. The ones that weren't were the 2 in Earth Armory, the 3 on the seafloor that don't always get checked, other than the Sharknado room, and the ones in the bottom of marsh behind the key lock were not checked. So, I mean, there were some that still hadn't been checked, but they were the ones that you don't really want to check because they're in places that are not super helpful. And when you find blue stake off the power cycle, even after a long run like that, does make sense. And I can understand why you and Pickles both went for that. So, I mean, pretty good decision making. Well, let's switch gears though and talk about the party comp because there were a lot of malices. Did you get the party you wanted with this party draft?
Um, I mean, when I saw level 1 fade in that slot 4, definitely I was really wishing I'd taken a white mage.
Yeah,
But
we talked about that a little bit. Go ahead. Sorry.
otherwise, that I don't mind that party. That thief. It would have been nice to have the thief in Temple of Fiends if Carrie hadn't taken him out. But um, I was a little bit worried when we saw Fade that the red mage couldn't get, and then the only offensive spell for the black mage was, I think, Rub in Canaria. But fortunately, Provoca wasn't far, and we had Fire 3, and that got us going.
Yeah, it was the magic was a bit of a garbage fire this seed. And looks like Pickles and Beer may have killed his OBS a little bit earlier, but he did finish up at 138.30. So get your GGs out in chat for Pickles and Beer. And Pickles and Beer has informed us that he will not be joining us for an interview. But so I just want to say, well, at least I'm talking. Good game to both of you, and I hope that fryteeth, no offense. I hope you lose tomorrow because I want to see a game 3.
Well, I'm definitely not going to lose tomorrow. Game 2's
Friday.
on Friday.
Time and I aren't on really good speaking terms right now. I'm just going to leave that at that.
Yeah, so I mean, Fryteeth, you're all the way into the semifinals, and this has been a huge journey for you. You've taken a lot of really accomplished runners to get to this stage. What's your mentality going into this second race with Pickles and Beer? Do you do anything differently? Do you practice? Do you prepare, or do you just kind of trust in RNG and your preparedness that has taken you this far?
I mean, obviously the flags are a little bit different from the previous round, but I've played these enough at this point that I feel pretty comfortable with them. And so I may run. Typically, what I do is if I feel like I need some practice, I'll run maybe the first 15 or 20 minutes of a couple seeds because that's usually my roughest part is my start. But I probably won't run a full seed between now and Friday. I mean, we've been running very similar flags to these now for 2 months, and I know what I want to do. I know where I want to go. So just show up on Friday and see how it goes.
Okay, well, good mindset to have, and GG Hugh for winning game 1, and good luck on the next one. Hey, any questions or final thoughts before we go to a wrap up here?
Nothing I can immediately think of. Just, I want to say good game and thanks for putting on a good race to both of the runners. Because this was just a good race to run, and I enjoy commentating it. So thank you both.
Yeah, well said, well said. Okay, and how about you, fryteeth? Any final thoughts before we do the wrap up here?
Just thanks to both of you for commentary. Thanks to Chanigan for I think he was both tracking and doing the restream, and yeah, it's kind of shocking to me to be now 1 game away from the finals.
Yeah, one game potentially if you don't take it to a game 3. So yeah, okay, that's great. So by way of wrap up, we'll just do a quick overview of the schedule and then we'll get out of here. So coming up on Wednesday, that's today, I'm sorry. Coming up on Friday, we do have the first race between Caleb and Greg Lipoff, who are in the other wing of these semifinals, as well as the second race between Fryteeth and Pickles and Beer. That's going to be here on Randomania. On Saturday, we've got the second game between Caleb and Gregory Puff, and the third game, if necessary, between Fryteeth and Pickles and Beer. So there you go, Friday and Saturday. That's what is going to determine it all, unless we need a game 3 from Caleb and Gregory Puff, in which case that'll get played on. We're going to be coming out of this weekend with our finals lineup ready to go. And I don't know about you, but I'm pretty excited, folks. This has been the culmination of a lot of effort by a lot of people. So on that note, I just want to say thank you very much to our race crew for tonight. We do have, of course, myself, RockSolid84, and Hate the 13th here in the commentary booth, and Shanigan pulling dual duty as a restreamer and tracker. We've got our administrators. Danny was doing the seed rolling for us tonight and getting people organized. So that's a huge thing that doesn't always get recognized. We really appreciate that. And big shout outs to Randomania as well for letting us use their channel, because we couldn't do the show without the stage. So that's going to do it for us tonight. We've got game 1 of this particular finals in the books for the semifinals between Fryteeth and Pickles and Beer. We're going to leave you now. I'm RockSolid84 for Hate 13th and the rest of the Final Fantasy Randomizer community. Until next time, keep your head up and don't forget to go fast.